Hi everybody, and welcome to Mastering Market Tops and Bottoms. Wow, that sounds good. This is a brand new presentation and you're going to learn a tremendous amount. The culmination of over 16 years of trading condensed into a few principles that will help you master turning points in the market, the tops and bottoms for massive moves. It's great to have you all here, and again, this is the first time I've ever shared this in a public forum, and just bear in mind again, this is based on over 16 years of trading the markets and making every conceivable mistake, and I'm going to share that with you a little bit about how I came to this and my journey. And I want you to walk away from this session with an understanding of how to spot the market tops and bottoms. Those are the big market tops and bottoms. I'm going to share with you some examples and exactly what to look for. There's a picture of me giving a presentation at the New York Traders Expo, and I was also invited to speak in China and at the Bogu Investment Forum. I think that's the only trading forum in China, and I spoke with other finance ministers and other traders from not only China but from all over the world as well. Quick disclaimer before we begin, you can read that. Just bear in mind all comments we make here for educational purposes only. You all know there's a high degree of risk involved in all types of trading, and we're not responsible for your trading and investment results. So here's a picture of me which was taken probably about 7 or 8 years ago now, and you can read a bit about me here. I basically started my professional life at Credit Suisse in 1996. And I have been trading since 2005, so over 16 years now. And I've been coaching traders to success now for over a decade. For those of you who are here for the first time, just so that you know, TradeSmart is a trading education business, and we focus on teaching you how to read the market professionally and also how to develop your own trading style and strategies which fit your personality and lifestyle. So this is what we need to do. We live obviously in a world now where we're easily distracted. What I want you to do is to focus for, it's probably going to be around an hour, maybe a little less. And I'm going to share with you again some very important knowledge that has taken me 16 years to master. And you're going to get this literally without having to go through all the work I've put in to get this knowledge, which is hours and hours and hours, if you can just imagine, of working at this. So you are in the right place if you want to learn how to spot major market turning points and you want to get your questions answered today. We'll take questions and answers at the end if we have time. So here's a beautiful quote that I learned from one of my mentors. Complexity is the enemy of execution. So what I like to do when I'm learning anything in life, not just trading, is to assimilate all the information and then break it down into rules, into a framework, and understand the interconnection between each part. So to take something that may look particularly complex and make it into something simple. So, and I believe as a trader, if it's too complex what you're trying to do, it's not going to work. You won't be able to repeat it. You want something that's simple, that you can understand, and that you can execute. That's what Tony Robbins says. Complexity is the enemy of execution. But you don't want to just be simple. It's masterful simplicity. It's simple based on a deep understanding rather than a lack of understanding. So what I'm going to share with you today is simple, but it's based on a deep understanding. And it's the ability to take something that looks rather complex and break it down into the components, into a structure, into a framework, so that you can use that framework to analyze any market. Now, when I first started out trading, which was about over 16 years ago now, I was taught a specialist system on the New York Stock Exchange. We were taught to trade by spotting what the specialist was doing on the New York Stock Exchange. So if the specialist was buying, we were taught to spot that in the price action in the time and sales. And watching the open book, which is the level 2 of the specialist of the New York Stock Exchange. And if the specialist was buying, we would be buying. If the specialist was selling, we would be selling. So that was what I was taught. And it took around 6 months to learn, plus about a further 6 months beforehand to get licensed to actually trade, to trade public money, so to say. My first trading account I ever traded was $500,000 in buying power. So you can imagine, I remember my first trade that I put on, I think my knees were shaking. You know, it was quite nerve-wracking. You know, the first time with, you know, a trade on and putting into practice what I had learned. But the problem was, around a year in, the New York Stock Exchange changed the way they worked. We call this today disruption. So the system I was taught to trade no longer worked, and ultimately the firm closed down, doesn't exist anymore. So it was back to the drawing board for me. So what I decided to do is to develop a way of trading that would stand the test of time, that I would never need to change. It would never be disrupted. I would never need to learn anything new, because what I have learned will work now until the end of time. And this is what I'm going to share with you. And you're going to see how powerful it is in order to understand how to read these market tops and bottoms. So this is what the system is. Professional chart reading framework. So you only need 3 things. You need to learn pivot analysis, and I'm going to share with you how we use that to spot market tops and bottoms. So this pivot analysis is our way of viewing the trend. Supply and demand analysis is, where are those institutional levels of supply and demand? Where are those big orders sitting in the market? Where are those turning points in the market? Ahead of time, so you know where they are. So you know where the market's going to move from and to, because price always moves between levels of supply and demand. And price direction analysis, if you ever learn about Japanese candlesticks, well, you can compress everything about Japanese candlesticks and just learn one thing. What direction is price going, up or down? Isn't that the most important thing that you need to know? Is the market moving up or down? So this is what price direction analysis is. And we need to do that on multiple time frames. And I'm going to show you some examples of market tops and bottoms using multiple time frames, how to do it. So for example, you could be in an uptrend on the hourly chart, but you're coming into an area of supply on the daily chart. So maybe the trend will come to an end there because you're coming into a supply area, a resistance area, if you want to call it that. And the most important thing about this framework is down here. The charts will teach you all you need to know once you have a framework for reading them. Wouldn't it be a good idea that you no longer have to rely on any guru? You can just rely on yourself and your own analysis once you have a framework. Wouldn't it be good to know that once you have that framework, you'll never need to learn anything else? It will work in every single market on every time frame. I've used this to pick the top of the markets, to pick the bottom of the markets in every market, including the property market. European property, US property. I got out before the crash, the last crash. I rode the whole thing to the upside and got out at the top, literally the day before it crashed. So if you're able to spot market tops and bottoms using this framework, then ahead of time you've got a very high probability of success, because remember, having a strategy alone is not enough. You need to know how to read a market first so that you know how to apply the strategy in the correct circumstances, in the correct context. Does everyone understand that? So just type a yes in the chat area if that makes sense. If when you're learning how to trade, you want a framework for reading the market so you know what's going on, you know where the levels are, you know what the market's doing, and you know where you are in relation to those levels. It would enable you, again, and I'm going to show you examples of picking tops and bottoms. which is what we're going to focus in on today. So this is what you really need to understand. You need to understand location and price structure. Location, where is price at the moment? So you need to be in the right place, and you need to have the right structure. What is price structure telling us? So if you have no way of understanding how to read price structure, then you've got no idea of what the market's telling you, what it's communicating. The market speaks a language. If you can understand the language of the market, then you understand what the market's communicating with you. And then you can trade with much more confidence, and you can develop for yourself a strategy which takes advantage of the odds in the market. Does that make sense? Thanks, Danny, Dean, John. Wyatt. So let's go into the main topic here. The three main formations of tops and bottoms. So I'm not going to mention gaps today. And again, the importance of understanding market tops and bottoms is that you want to keep yourself on the right side of the market. You want to be able to catch major turning points, and you want to also get out of the move once it's finished. If you're in the move on the way up, for example, in the market, when you're reading the market, you say, this is the market top, it's time to get out. Or if you're not in the market and the market tops, maybe it's time to get in and take it down. So both sides of it, you need to know where to get out and when to get out, and where to get in and when to get in. Where is location? When is market structure? So you also need to be able to see what's happening, not after it's happened. Everyone's a great trader in hindsight, 2020, yeah? Oh, you buy down here and you sell up there after it's happened. No, you need to learn how to recognize the market as it's playing out in real time. Afterwards is too late. And training yourself to read a market after it's happened is also too late. You need to train your brain, train your mind, train your eyes, train your reticular activating system to see it as it plays out and recognize this produces this most of the time. These are what the odds are in this market scenario. That makes sense? So let's go through the three main formations. The first one I call the most common formation, because this is what happens most of the time. Then we have a basing formation, and then we have what we call a climactic formation. So let's go over the most common formation. So remember these two questions. We need to ask, where is it happening? Is price at a significant level of supply or demand? So this is the location. It has to be at a significant level of supply or demand. Or is it the market making new highs or new lows? That's the location. Now, what do we need to see in price structure? Well, very simple. We need to see what we call a change of trend. So you need to learn how to read the trend to understand what a change of trend looks like. So I'm not going to go into all the finer details, but I'm going to share with you at the end of this presentation how you can actually get the whole picture of this. I'm going to share with you what it is, and if you understand it, then you understand it. And I'm going to explain exactly what it is, but it's not going to be the complete picture. It's going to be most of it. If you can understand everything, you'll probably be able to put it together and get this. So this is the most common formation. So here's an example of this most common formation. This is Bitcoin. Bitcoin just formed new highs over here. So this is the market moving up to new highs. This is the monthly chart. This is the weekly chart. We've basically caught, since this is a Bitcoin futures, we've caught in our trading room every single major move of Bitcoin since the market started over here, since the futures contract. So what happens over here is what we call COT, change of trend. The market fails to make a higher low. It makes a lower low here. See that? It would go below this pivot. And that sparks off the move to the downside. So this is the market moving to new highs and failing the uptrend, changing trend off the highs. So from here, once we go below this white line over here, the bottom one, that's the end of the uptrend at new highs, which kicks off the move to the downside. And what a big move it was, from 660,000 down to around the 30,000 area, 35,000. Okay, let's go through another example of the most common formation. This is the dollar index. And again, I call this bottom at the beginning of last year, beginning of 2021. Okay, I did a presentation in China and the market was over here. And I said, if the market fails to go below this level, that's the bottom. We're going back to the top of the base, to this 100 area, which is basically what happened. It took, I thought it would do it in 2021, but it's taken part of this year to continue up to this area. So again, this is demand. It's happening at the bottom of a monthly base. So you have to understand what a base looks like. This is a base, the top and the bottom. And this is the market's failure to make a new low, which is what we call change of trend. One of the ways you can change trend. And that kicks off the move to the upside. So this is another major bottom, the most common formation. Okay, everyone following so far? Okay, let's go on to the next formation, basing formation. Again, same thing. You need to ask yourself location-wise, where are you? Is price at a significant level of supply and demand? Support and resistance, if you want to call it that. They're slightly different. Supply and demand, when you use the words supply and demand, it's less abstract if you understand what supply and demand are than using the word support or resistance. Support is what happens at demand, if you see what I mean. Demand is what the area looks like. Support is what it does. Okay, but understanding that it's demand from a deeper perspective, and again, it's beyond the scope of this presentation, of what's going on there and why it works, will give you much more conviction when you're trading. So when you understand where those levels are and why. So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Where is price? Where am I location-wise? Or is price at new highs and lows? Then you need to look at what the price structure is. So you need to be basing at, so you have to know what a base looks like, at highs and lows, followed by what we call a bull or bear trap. And that kicks off the move in the opposite direction. So let's show you an example of this. And this happened, this was the market top, the E-minis. This was market top at the beginning of 2021. Okay, so what happened here? The market's basing over here. The market breaks out to new highs, which we call a bull trap, if it immediately comes back into the base. And from here, I know this is the market top. And look at the move down. It went all the way down here. Massive move to the downside. This is the market top. Okay, that's how a market forms a top when it's basing at new highs, and we break out and come back into the base. That kicks off a move to the downside. That's a basing formation. Okay, and if you recognize that, if you're in the trading room, once this bar closed on this was on the daily chart, weekly chart. Once this bar closed on the weekly chart, I said that's the market top. You don't want to be on the buy. You want to sell moves up now to supply as opposed to buying moves down to demand. Go with the correct side of the market. Now, the next one is what we call a climactic formation. Again, you need to ask yourself location. You need to have price at a significant level of supply or demand after a rapid move, which is an acceleration in price. So we're making, we're either at, we've moved up in a rapid way, a momentum move to that supply or demand level, which you need to know where it is, or price is now at new highs and lows. We just broke out or went up and accelerated to the up or downside. And then you need to know what happens next. How do you know when it's the market top? Well, guess what? Very simple. We look at what we call price structure again, and coming back to using trend, we look at change of trend. So let's show you an example of this. And this is a very, I guess now a famous example looking at oil. This is where we had oil go negative over here. Yeah. Now you don't see it negative on this contract. This is a rolling contract for oil futures, but it did went. I think if I remember correctly, it went to minus $30 something. Yeah. So this is the rapid move down. And this is the move up, and here we see a change of trend. That's the bottom. I know definitively once that happens, that's the bottom. And look at the massive move we had from this level. We know we went all the way up beyond, almost to like beyond $100 from this move here. And again, this is kind of on a bigger time frames on the monthly chart, so this is where you could hold for a more, longer term move. And again, this was the bottom. That was the bottom. This confirmed it's the bottom. And this is how. So let me show you another example in the pound. So here we had a sudden drop. Remember, this was a solid red bar at one point, a rapid move down, and then the market changes trend here. We put change of trend. We make a higher low here. And again, that's the bottom of the market. And the move that happened to the upside afterwards was a massive move. A couple of thousand points, pips. So that's another way a market can form a climactic bottom. Now let me show you a couple of examples in multiple time frame analysis. This is climactic formation, multiple time frame analysis. So we're looking at the Australian dollar here on the monthly chart. And again, you see this rapid descent down to a demand area. How do I know that that's the bottom? Now, you could buy the demand area, but how do you know it's not going to keep going down? Well, if it's a solid demand area, you could buy that. But I'm showing you how to use trend, change of trend. So if we drop down to a daily chart here, yeah, this is a monthly. We drop down to a daily chart here. If you know how to read the trend, when the market goes above this line here, that's a change of trend. It's no longer moving down. It's no longer in a downtrend anymore. And look at the move that happens afterwards to the upside. So this is a way of using the monthly chart together with the daily chart to pick the bottom. So once you know that's a bottom, you can buy this dip here on this day. And you can buy this dip here as it pulls back and turns. Whoops. That was clicking the wrong button on my mouse. My son said I should disable it, but I didn't. Well, there you go. Okay, so here, and as you can see, that was the bottom of the market. Now, what I want to do now, is everyone following this? Okay, so let's put it out to you. Okay, and I'm going to open up the chat so we can see. And which markets do you want to look at? Let's go into the markets now, and we will do this analysis on any market that you want to look at, as long as I can chart it. Okay, I can chart any stocks, futures contracts, US stocks, any futures, whatever. So type something in the room and we can take a look. And again, you'll see that this happened, and again, you can use this on every time frame as well. I used it actually today on the pound. Okay, so you want to look at the SPY? We can look at SPY. Okay, so let's pull up the charts. Euro dollar, SPY. So let's start with the euro dollar actually to start with. Okay, so watch this. The market's coming down to demand levels here. So weekly chart, monthly chart, so daily chart. Now, look what happens today over here. We come down to this demand area, and once we go above this area, above this level, that we change trends. We're no longer in a downward moving market. So this first pullback, buyable. Or once we go above here, we buy it. Look at the biggest bar up here today. And then the pullback up. We couldn't get above this supply area, so we're getting back down. We could have done, and then we'd go to the next level. So that's one way of doing it. Okay. In demand, and then change of trend. Okay, let's look at the, you said MNQ, we'll look at it through the NQ. Okay, same thing here, look at this. Market came up to supply. What happened to the trend? Made a lower high, lower low. So today, high probability short, also yesterday. See that? Up in supply level, change of trend. It's anticipation of a change of trend. Okay, so that's happening in supply. Look at the weekly supply. And if you look at the monthly chart here, this move down broke the uptrend by going below this pivot. So this move up is sellable. Where is it sellable? Guess what? In supply on the 10 frame down. Here. That's not as simple as that, because this time frame has this move down may get bought because we went above this pivot here. Okay, look at the E-minis. Let's go to the E-minis and we can actually see the chart now here. This was the top that we talked about before, the move up and then the move down. And you can see the same structure happening here as well. Failure to make a new high, changing trend. And over here as well, when we went above this level, we're no longer moving down and we have this move to the upside. And you can see it here as well, the failure to go above here to a new high, and off you go in the downward moving market. Natural gas, let's look at natural gas. Wait, let me just go through natural gas. So let's look at natural gas, look at it through the futures. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, whatever chart you look at, once you see this happening, this is this, you see the market here, lower low, lower high, lower low. Once you go above here, it's no longer downward moving market. So once your bar goes up, you can buy the pullbacks now and you get the move to the upside. That's the market bottom. Once you break the trend after making new lows. Okay, that's natural gas. Let's see what else we can look at. Let's look at the, let's look at the pound from today. Here the market's kind of range bound, and then what happens here? We're going to move down, bear trap scenario into demand. We come back, and I entered the trade here today and traded to the upside. I actually got in here and I got out here and I got out some here. And actually let me show you that trade from today. So you can see it not after it's happened. I took a picture as it was happening, as I got into the trade. Here's the entry. Right here, yeah. I was looking for a bigger move, but guess what? You know, the problem being is it may have stopped around this area. So this is what I did. I got out half here as it got, why here? Because it got into this area on the other side of here. And my senses started to tell me, hey, it's going down. And then what I did is put a stop, trailed it behind this area. So what actually happened is I got out the back half over here. And if you look and see what happened, that was the top of the day. This was the bottom so far, and that was the top of today. We go back and look at the market. You know, so you can only get what the market gives. You know, it didn't go more, so you know, I got out up here and I got out here, and you can see that was it. I basically got most of the move of the day, not at the bottom, from here up to here. Understanding this structure of this is a bottom, it's a break out or break down that snapped back and kicked off the move. Notice quite a powerful move in the opposite direction, the biggest hourly bar of the day. Now some days you get bigger moves, some days you get smaller moves. Okay, here we see same thing again. Look at this. Market made new highs, pulls back, fails to make a new high. That's the top. At new highs and then a change of trend. That kicks off the move to the downside. And from the bottom here, once you go above this pivot over here, that's the bottom at new lows. As far as I can see on this chart, kicks off the move to the upside. So at new highs and new lows, changes of trend can pick your market tops and bottoms. And it works pretty much every time. Jim Rohn, I learned this from Tony Robbins, actually. Jim Rohn used to say, it was Tony Robbins' mentor, for things to change, you have to change. And for things to get better, you have to get better. But listen to this very carefully. Yeah, you've got to let your knowledge lead to action. If you don't do anything with what you're learning here, you should write down a few ideas and go to the market tomorrow and try it out. See if it works. Okay, here's a success story. Jane, she came to me about 4 years ago and, not knowing too much about trading, went from beginner to consistent profits in 3 months. She's actually now teaching teaching how to trade the NASDAQ futures, the NQ, at the Cash Open, and she's actually got a course, and she trains and coaches a group of people on a daily basis as well. So this is from beginner to consistent profits in 3 months, and she's probably one of the best traders you'll ever come across at trading the Cash Open. So this is what she said about the training when she started, which was just over 4 years ago. All I can say to anyone who wants to consistently profit, just do it. That training turned my whole trading around. From that day on, my trading has been so consistent. It's really mind-blowing. Once you understand the levels and can read the trend, you will beat the market every single day. However, the key is follow the pivot analysis, use the demand and supply levels, and adapt it to your own trading style. Be very disciplined. Don't be greedy. Stop when you've made your daily profit, and you will turn losing trades into winning consistently day in, day out. Simon's trading can be adapted to any market. I mainly trade NQ and CL. I use my own strategy based on Simon's education. I found the best thing was knowing what you are doing gives you confidence in your trades, and the fear of losing was gone. Trading had become a lifestyle, no longer a binary gamble or a nervous hope job. Believe me, it's the best and only training to succeed with. So the best investment you can make in life is in yourself. So now you've seen a simple, I said it's simple, and powerful approach to picking market tops and bottoms. Why don't you take it a step further and learn how to read the trend in its entirety using pivot analysis? So what are the benefits of knowing how to read the trend? Well, one of them we just met. You can pick market tops and bottoms. You can also trade in the direction of the trend. Remember the saying, the trend is your friend. Most people miss the end of it off until the bend in the end. Well, that's where it either, you now understand that. The bend in the end is, just showed you 3 ways it can bend in the end. Either at new market highs or at previous levels of supply or demand. The trend will change. So you trade in the direction of the trend until it bends. You'll know exactly when a trend begins. Wouldn't that be a good idea? And when it ends. Make sure you're never fighting the trend. Make sure you're on the right side of the market. Don't be buying if the trend just ended. Don't buy in an uptrend that just ended. The uptrend just ended. It's no longer in an uptrend and you're buying. Not very likely to work. You'll be able to develop a profitable trading strategy or enhance an existing one. So here's the offer. You can join my How to Read the Trend training session plus trading room. And this is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to identify the current trend of the market. So you need to know what the current trend is to know when it ends. Yeah. So you need to know what it's an uptrend, and then you need to know when the uptrend ends. You'll be able to analyze it in multiple time frames. You'll know exactly when it begins and exactly when the trend ends, and how this knowledge will dramatically affect your bottom line. I'll just show you a few examples of how to do that. You'll also be able to watch us analyze and trade the live markets in real time in our trading room. And here's what people are saying. Francesco, when I first watched How to Read the Trend module, I must admit I did not appreciate the power of pivots and their interrelationship with supply and demand. Honestly, I thought it was more of a good education module for beginners, talking about what a candle is. And now, of course, I was smart enough to be able to read the trend already. Now, after having been a few days in the live trading room and seeing some pretty uncanny results, something clicked. I decided to rewatch the first education module. Now I can see that it is really a lot more powerful than it first appeared to be. And it's quite deep. Sometimes we don't see what's right in front of our noses, as the old saying goes. I would say now that I know things about reading the trend that I did not have a clue about before doing your first module. The first thing I'm thinking is why I didn't do this 25 years ago when I started. Johan, as a new trader, I dropped from strategy to strategy, always looking for the magic sauce. I literally spent thousands of hours in various forums, blew up numerous accounts and bought tons of online courses. After a while, I realized that most of this material is produced by people like myself, wannabes, without experience, who want to survive while learning how to trade for real. What struck me when I came across TradeSmartForex.com and Simon's material was his true understanding of price action. He managed to condense all of this vague and ambiguous information to a few clear and fundamental set of rules and principles. I have to date probably seen his material a dozen times, and I always discover new details that are key in my now profitable trading plan. When people ask me for advice, I often say that Simon at TradeSmartForex.com offers everything you need, nothing more, nothing less. I am so sure his genuine interest in you as a trader will enable you to reach your goal far more quickly than most other alternatives. Tom, I want to say I think what you teach in How to Be the Trend training is brilliant. Before that, I'd picked up bits and pieces from different traders, but it was never joined up. Your course brought it all together in a very structured and algorithmic way. No guessing needed. The facts jump off the chart. That's what you want when you're trading. You want the charts to communicate with you what's happening and be able to read it and be able to trade based on that information. If you don't know what's going on, how are you going to trade successfully? You want it to jump out at you. Matt, the trading room is very helpful in understanding how to go through the process. I've been trading for 11 years and I've not seen anything like what you do. Love how simple it is. I mainly trade options with trades that last 30 to 60 days. I've been looking for something I could use to day trade for 2 years now. I want to round out what I'm doing with another source of profits. I've not been able to find anything that I could execute consistently. I'm just paper trading with your system. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now and I've had far better results than anything I have ever tried. Marcus. Simon's probably one of the best coaches out there with a heartfelt passion for coaching and a real understanding of how the market works. He helps you view everything in a new way. The way he teaches is also really good and he goes through it until you understand. I can honestly say I've gotten more out of this training than I expected. So this is what you get. And let me put the chat on so you guys can see what's going on there. So I'll publicize the chat. So this is what you get in the training. Now again, you've got to be very conscious of your time. I'm not going to say, oh, the training, it's 1 million hours long. And yes, no, that you don't want to spend 1 million hours doing this. What we've done is taken years of knowledge and condensed it into what you need to know. So this training it's 1.5 hours. But you can go over it as many times as you want. Some of my best traders, Jane included, went over the training 50 times. Because every time you listen to it again and you try it, you understand it in a deeper way until you really integrate it. I'm not saying you have to do it 50 times, but it's a good idea to go through it until you really understand it. Because the first time you don't capture everything, you don't understand everything in to the level that you need. So you need to go through it once, come into the trading room, see it in practice, see it used in the market daily, do it yourself and see it works. Build confidence in it. Build confidence in yourself to be able to do it. That's the best way to learn. That's a shortcut to get results. Don't rely on any gurus. You don't need to rely on anyone else apart from yourself. Once you have that framework for reading the market, when you drive your car, you don't phone up your driving instructor and say, well, what do I do now? Do I stop at the red light or not? Do we go through it? No, you don't. You know what to do because you've learned. So you need to learn how to trade and stand on your own feet as a trader, not relying on anyone else. Obviously, you need to learn from people, but ultimately you need to make the decisions and rely on yourself. So this will give you the ability to be able to do that. You also get personal access to me. You can email me follow-up questions. But this is the most important thing. You're going to get 1 month access to the live trading room at no cost. The monthly charge usually it's $497 a month. That's not a made-up number. That's what people are actually paying. There must be value in it if people are paying for it. And they're generating more for themselves than the cost of the... Otherwise, it's not worth the value, is it? You also get access to our online trading community 24/7. Jane's very active in that community. training people how to trade the NASDAQ at the open. So there's people in that community that are posting every day the game plan before the market opens, what levels they're looking at, what they're looking to do. And you'll see how the group of traders are becoming successful together, but they're making their own decisions. This is what our community looks like. So you're never going to be alone. You're part of a community of like-minded individuals who want to become the best traders that they can become. And we have a lot of fun in there as well. That's one of the other aims. We have it's not, it's a lot of fun. So here's the offer. The regular price, if you join How to Read the Trend plus the trading room, it would cost you $894. Deadline's 2 days from today. You're going to receive $497 off. It's basically the first month in the live trading room free. Basically, your investment today is $397. You can also go to this link. You can't click on it, but you can type this into your browser, tradesmartforex.com with the number 4 and /promo. Now, it's not just for, even though the domain name is forex.com, TradeSmart was gone. So I picked something way back when I didn't know too much about websites and marketing or anything else like that. So I don't just trade Forex, okay? I'm originally an equity trader. I trade Forex now and futures. So, and again, this applies to every single market, including property, which I've traded as well, /promo. So you go to that link and let me show you what it looks like. So if you go, by the way, if you go to my website, tradesmartforex.com, to get into the membership area, once you signed up, you'll get an email sent to you with your login credentials. You can always click on here on the main site and it will take you to the membership portal. You come to here, this page, How to Read the Trend plus Trading Room, and you can click on Buy Now or over here and it'll bring you to the checkout area, the cart. You fill out all your details over here and I'll point your attention to this. The price is $397, but it's monthly for the trading room after the first month, so you can cancel at any time. So if you want, you can cancel immediately as well. It makes no difference. You'll still get that full month in the trading room. So, or set yourself a reminder. But most people stay beyond the first month because they see the value. So if you see the value and you're gaining from it and it's helping your trading, then this is what you need to do. So once you get your login credentials, when you click on the main site here, it brings you to the membership portals. This is the main portals for everything. So How to Read the Trend is in education and training, and everything to do with the trading room is here. How to Read the Trend is in here. You'll get access just to the first session of How to Read the Market Professionally, which is How to Read the Trend. You won't see anything else here. I'm just showing you everything, but you won't see that. You'll just see this session. And the trading room is here. The live trading room, you can enter here and you'll see the schedule in this area. Each session is recorded, so you can watch the daily recordings here and the weekly preparation session, which we do ahead of the week, where we come up with a game plan and we set our zones for the week. And you'll see, if you come into these sessions, you'll learn a tremendous amount. Plus, you'll be able to apply that to the markets that you trade. The same principles apply. It doesn't matter what the markets are. A chart's a chart. Every market has different nuances, but the main principles are the same. So for those of you who have signed up already, welcome. It's great to have you, and I look forward to seeing you live in the trading room tomorrow. So again, this is what the offer is. If you join now, How to Read the Trend is $397. 1 month in the live trading room is $497, a total of $894. Today, you only pay $397. So that's your investment. You're going to learn something tremendously valuable. That's based on years of experience. It's super simple, but super powerful. And you won't have to go through that learning curve in order to get that knowledge. You might think you know it all, but I've had many traders that I've trained over the past, more recently over the past 4 years, that have been trading longer than me. And they've all learned something from this, and it's helped their trading tremendously. Okay, so if you have any questions, we'll open up to questions. So, it's an interesting thing we think about as we get on in life. When we're younger, what we try and do is save money, by using our time. We may go to different supermarkets to shop for things with the best offer, but we use a lot of time to save money. As you get older, you start to realize you need to start doing it the other way around, because the most precious asset we have in life is time. So we want to maximize our time. Yeah, money comes and goes. We want to maximize who we can become as human beings. We want to maximize our potential. So the best way to do that many times is to learn from someone who's achieved what you're trying to achieve. Condense decades of knowledge into days. What I want to do, and you can send me an email here, what I want to do is personally thank each of you for your time. And if you're ready to take the next step and join, I welcome you. Those of you who've joined already, welcome. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in the trading room. If you have any questions, you can email me. I have a YouTube channel over here where you can go. I used to be more active. I am planning to be more active this year and put more videos out, but you'll probably find some interesting videos there, different trades, live trades that I recorded. And again, this is a link to join up. So thank you so much for your time and for being here. And again, go through the replay, go and over and master those market tops and bottoms for yourself, and then go and watch the market and see if you can spot them happening and then apply them to your own trading. If you want more detail about that, then come and take the training, How to Read the Trend. Come and join our trading room and observe. Come in and observe. Join our community of traders on Discord and see what they do. We've got some very good traders in there that have been trading for many, many years. We have some traders that have been trading for over 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, all the way down to newbie. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. And I wish you all the best of luck with your trading. And again, welcome all the new people. Thanks a lot.